Captain Olivia Bennett stared at the massive ships through the viewscreen of her vessel. They had appeared without warning near Mars' orbit, their hulls gleaming with an otherworldly metal that seemed to shift colors under the distant sunlight. 6 of them, each larger than the biggest city on Earth, hanging in space like silent predators. "Status report," she said, her voice steady despite the fear building in her chest. Lieutenant Ryan Doyle's fingers flew across his console. "No response to our hails yet, Captain. They're not broadcasting on any known frequency." Olivia nodded. The Earth Defense Force vessel, Intrepid, was humanity's most advanced warship, but compared to these visitors, it might as well have been a rowboat facing an aircraft carrier. Humanity had expanded throughout the solar system over the past 30 years. Colonies on Mars, mining operations in the asteroid belt, research stations on Europa and Titan, but they had never encountered intelligent alien life until today. "Try all frequencies again," she ordered, "and notify Earth Command. We need to—" A bright light flashed across the view screen, momentarily blinding everyone on the bridge. When Olivia's vision cleared, a face filled the screen. It was humanoid, but clearly alien. Scaled skin in deep purple hues, 4 eyes, arranged in a diamond pattern, and a mouth that seemed too wide for its face. "Greetings, vessel of Earth," the alien said in perfect English. "I am Admiral Krasanar of the Zorian Empire. We have been observing your world for some time." Olivia straightened her uniform and stepped forward. "This is Captain Olivia Bennett of the Earth Defense Force. You've entered our solar system unannounced. What is your purpose here?" Admiral Krasanar's upper eyes blinked slowly. "Purpose? The Zorian Empire doesn't need purpose to go where it wishes. The universe belongs to those with the power to claim it." His voice carried no malice, just the calm certainty of someone stating an obvious fact. "Nevertheless," Olivia said, choosing her words carefully, "Earth and its colonies would appreciate knowing your intentions." The alien's wide mouth formed what might have been a smile. "Very well. We are here to offer your species a generous opportunity. The Zorian Empire spans 17,000 worlds across 3 galactic arms. We bring order, technology, and protection to all who join us." Ryan whispered from his station, "Captain, we're detecting energy readings off the charts from their ships. Their weapon systems make our nuclear arsenal look like firecrackers." Olivia nodded slightly to acknowledge him, but kept her eyes on the alien. "And if we're not interested in joining your empire? Then we will be forced to take more direct measures," Krasanar said. "Your species has potential. We would prefer to avoid unnecessary damage to your infrastructure and population. As a protectorate state, you would maintain limited self-governance under imperial oversight. Your resources would, of course, serve the greater needs of the empire." The bridge fell silent. Everyone understood what this was: an ultimatum, not an invitation. "I am not authorized to negotiate on behalf of Earth," Olivia said finally. "I request time to contact our leaders." Krasanar made a dismissive gesture with a 4-fingered hand. "Of course, we are not barbarians. You have 12 of your Earth hours to establish communication. I will speak with your world leaders then." The transmission ended abruptly. "Send everything to Earth Command," Olivia ordered, "and get me a secure line to the Secretary General." 12 hours later, the United Nations Security Council gathered in an emergency session. Leaders from around the world sat in stunned silence as they watched the recording from the Intrepid. Secretary General William Moore looked around the table at ashen faces. "The Zorian ships haven't moved from their position," he said. "Our long-range scans confirm what Captain Bennett reported. Their technological capabilities far exceed our own." The Russian representative spoke first. "Perhaps we should consider their offer. Limited self-governance is better than destruction." "Absolutely not," the American representative countered. "We would be signing away humanity's future. Once they're established here, they'll never leave." Arguments erupted around the table. Surrender or fight. Neither option seemed viable. Earth's combined military might would be useless against visitors who could cross interstellar space. A quiet voice cut through the chaos. "There is a third option. All eyes turned to Dr. Alex Carter, who sat in an observer's chair against the wall. He wasn't supposed to speak in these meetings, but no one objected. "Dr. Carter," the Secretary General said, "you have the floor." Alex stood, his tall frame unfolding awkwardly. He looked ordinary, a man in his 40s with graying hair and glasses wearing a rumpled suit. Few people in the room knew that he was the leading physicist on Earth's most classified project. "For the past 20 years, Alex said, a small team has been working on technology derived from an ancient outpost we discovered beneath the Pacific Ocean, an outpost that wasn't built by humans." Murmurs swept through the room. This was news to most of the world leaders present. "We've developed capabilities that we've kept hidden even from our own space program," Alex continued. "Capabilities that might give us a chance against the Zorians." "What kind of capabilities?" the Chinese representative demanded. Alex adjusted his glasses. "The kind that could make them regret threatening Earth. But we need time to prepare." He turned to the Secretary General. "Ask for 72 hours to consider their terms. Make it seem like we're divided and need time to reach consensus." "And then?" the Secretary General asked. "Then we show them that humans don't respond well to threats," Alex said simply. The Secretary General studied Alex's face, then nodded slowly. "Make the call." Admiral Krasnar received Earth's request for time with amusement. The Zorian Empire had conquered thousands of worlds, and the response was always the same: fear, followed by acceptance of the inevitable. These humans would be no different. "Give them their 72 hours, he told his war council. "It makes no difference. Their primitive weapons can't harm our ships, and their civilization has barely reached their own moon. They need time to accept their new reality." What Krasnar didn't know was that humans had indeed reached far beyond their moon, and deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a facility unknown to most of humanity, Dr. Alex Carter was powering up a device that would change the course of galactic history. "Project Prometheus is online," a technician reported. Alex nodded, his expression grim. "Begin the countdown. We have 71 hours to prepare humanity's response." The 71 hours passed quickly. Inside the mountain facility, Dr. Alex Carter hadn't slept for more than a few minutes at a time. His eyes were red-rimmed as he stared at complex equations floating on holographic displays. "We're almost there," he said to General Frank Martinez, who stood beside him with arms crossed. "The system is stable now." The general nodded. He was a tall man with short gray hair and a face weathered by decades of military service. "Good, because time's almost up and we need to send our response." In another room, Samantha Reeves checked her simple blue uniform one last time. As Earth's diplomatic officer chosen for this mission, she understood the weight on her shoulders. She was 35, with brown hair pulled back in a tight bun and eyes that missed nothing. Years of international negotiations had prepared her for difficult situations, but nothing like this. "The shuttle is ready, Ms. Reeves," said a young officer at the door. She nodded. "And the others?" "The delegation is assembled and waiting." Samantha took a deep breath. "Then it's time." The small Earth shuttle approached the massive Zorian flagship. It looked tiny against the enormous alien vessel, like a mosquito next to an elephant. Inside, Samantha sat with 3 other diplomats, representatives chosen from different continents to show Earth's unified front. "Remember," she told them, "no matter what happens in there, stick to the plan." Their shuttle entered a vast docking bay where strange vehicles and smaller spacecraft sat in neat rows. Armed Zorian soldiers lined the walls, their bodies covered in sleek armor that pulsed with soft light. Each carried a weapon that looked like it could vaporize the entire Earth delegation in seconds. Admiral Krasnar waited for them at the center of the bay, flanked by what appeared to be high-ranking officers. Up close, the alien was even more intimidating, nearly 7 feet tall with powerful muscles visible beneath his scaled skin. "Welcome aboard the Imperial vessel Dominant," he said, his 4 eyes studying each human carefully. "I trust you've come with your planet's decision." Samantha stepped forward. "We have, Admiral. I am Samantha Reeves, appointed to speak for Earth in this matter." Krasnar made a gesture, and the delegation was led through gleaming corridors to a large chamber. A round table dominated the center, surrounded by seats designed for Zorian anatomy. The walls displayed views of space and strange worlds that must have been part of their empire. The Zorian War Council was already seated. They varied in coloration and size, but all had the same four-eyed, wide-mouthed appearance as Krasnar. They watched the humans with expressions that ranged from curiosity to contempt. "Please be seated," Krasnar said, indicating smaller chairs that had been brought in for the humans. "Now let us hear Earth's wise decision." The other council members made sounds that might have been chuckles. They clearly expected surrender. Samantha remained standing. "Admiral, members of the council, I will be brief. I am instructed to deliver the following message from the United Governments of Earth." The room fell silent. Even the Zorians, who had seemed bored, now paid attention. Samantha's voice was clear and firm as she delivered the single-sentence response. "We advise you to leave our solar system immediately. This is not a negotiation." For a moment, no one spoke. Then laughter erupted around the table, a strange hissing sound from alien throats. "Fascinating," said Krasnar when the laughter died down. "In 17,000 conquered worlds, I have rarely encountered such amusing defiance." He leaned forward. "Perhaps I wasn't clear about your situation. You have no defense against our weapons. Your entire civilization exists because we allow it." Samantha didn't flinch. "Our message stands, Admiral. We advise you to leave." A red-scaled Zorian slammed a fist on the table. "This is an insult. They should be punished immediately." Krasnar held up a hand. "Peace, Commander Vorex. I find their courage interesting." He turned back to Samantha. "You must have some reason for this confidence, some weapon you believe will save you." "We simply wish to be left alone," Samantha replied. "That is all I am authorized to say." Krasnar studied her for a long moment, then stood. "Very well. Since words alone do not convince you of your situation, perhaps a demonstration is needed." He touched a control on the table and a holographic image appeared above it. A small moon orbiting Mars. "This is your outpost on Phobos, yes?" "Uninhabited at present, according to our scans. Watch carefully." He made another gesture. On the hologram, a beam of light shot from one of the Zorian ships. The surface of Phobos erupted in a massive explosion. When the dust cleared, a crater nearly a mile wide had replaced the small research facility. "That was one weapon at its lowest setting, fired from our smallest ship," Krasnar said quietly. "You have 24 hours to reconsider your response. If we do not receive your surrender by then, our next demonstration will target one of your orbital stations and with people on board." Samantha's face remained neutral, though her heart pounded in her chest. "We understand, Admiral. Is there anything else?" Krasnar seemed surprised by her calmness. "No. You are dismissed." The Earth delegation was escorted back to their shuttle. Once they were safely away from the Zorian ship, one of the other diplomats broke down in tears. "They're going to kill us all," he sobbed. "Did you see what they did to Phobos?" "Pull yourself together," Samantha said firmly. "Everything is proceeding as expected." Back on Earth, the Security Council watched the recording of the meeting with grim faces. "They destroyed our Phobos facility with barely any effort," the Secretary General said. "Are we certain this plan will work?" Dr. Carter nodded. "The Prometheus system is ready. When they make their next move, we'll be waiting." In a secure bunker beneath Colorado, Officer Zoe Hampton ran final checks on her control systems. She was young, just 28, but had been chosen for her exceptional mental focus and reaction time. Her dark skin contrasted with the bright blue glow from her screens as she studied the positions of the Zorian fleet. "All satellites in position," she reported. "Prometheus is online and targeting systems are green." General Martinez watched from behind her. "Good. Now we wait." Above Earth, 3 ordinary-looking satellites drifted in seemingly random orbits. To any observer, they appeared to be standard communications equipment. The Zorians had scanned them and dismissed them as primitive technology. That was their first mistake. As the 24-hour deadline approached, Admiral Krasnar prepared his fleet for the next demonstration. He selected a small space station in Earth orbit, one with minimal defenses and only a skeleton crew. Enough people to make his point, but not so many that he would appear unnecessarily cruel. "Target locked," reported his weapons officer. "Awaiting your command, Admiral." Krasnar looked at the station on his view screen. "These humans will learn, as all species do eventually." He raised his hand to give the order. "Fire." The Zorian weapons officer pressed the firing control. A beam of intense energy shot from the destroyer toward the small Earth space station. Everyone on the bridge of the Zorian flagship watched with cold satisfaction. This demonstration would surely break the humans' foolish resistance. But something unexpected happened. As the energy beam approached the space station, the 3 nearby satellites suddenly glowed with a blue light. The beam struck what appeared to be an invisible wall and stopped completely. The energy didn't scatter or explode. It simply vanished, absorbed into nothing. "What happened?" Krasnar demanded, rising from his command chair. "Why is the station still intact?" "Unknown, Admiral," the weapons officer replied, checking his instruments. "The energy beam was absorbed. I've never seen anything like it." In her underground bunker, Officer Zoe Hampton's fingers danced across her control panel. Sweat beaded on her forehead as she channeled the absorbed energy through the Prometheus system. The satellites had worked perfectly, capturing the Zorian weapons' power. Now came the hard part. "Energy containment at 98%, she reported. "Targeting systems locked on the Zorian destroyer." Dr. Carter stood behind her, his face tense. "Remember your training, Zoe. Precise control is essential." "I know," she said, not taking her eyes off the screens. "Initiating Prometheus protocol now." The 3 satellites repositioned slightly, creating a perfect triangle. The blue glow intensified, and then a pulse of energy, not a beam, but a sphere of light, shot toward one of the smaller Zorian ships. On the Zorian flagship, alarms blared. "Energy surge detected," a sensor officer shouted. "Origin unknown. Target is the destroyer. Invincible." "Raise shields," Krasnar ordered. But it was already too late. The sphere of energy reached the Zorian destroyer, but instead of exploding against the ship's hull, it enveloped the vessel in a bubble of light. For 3 seconds, the ship appeared frozen in time, glowing with an otherworldly radiance. Then the bubble collapsed. Where the destroyer had been, there was now only empty space, no debris, no explosion. The ship and its 400 crew members had simply ceased to exist. Stunned silence filled the Zorian command center. In thousands of years of conquest, they had never witnessed such technology. "Scan the area," Krasnar ordered, his voice tight with shock. "Where did the Invincible go?" After several minutes of frantic activity, the science officer turned to him. "Admiral, the ship is gone, not destroyed in the conventional sense. Our sensors indicate a localized disruption in space-time. The ship wasn't damaged. It was removed from our reality." Before Krasnar could respond, a transmission came through on all Zorian communication channels. The face of General Martinez filled their screens. "Attention, Zorian fleet. You have witnessed our response to your attack. That was our final warning. The next demonstration will not be so limited. You have 6 hours to leave our solar system." The transmission ended as abruptly as it had begun. Krasnar's 4 eyes blinked rapidly as he processed what had happened. One of his warships, a vessel that had participated in the conquest of dozens of worlds, had been erased from existence with seemingly little effort. "Call the War Council," he ordered. "Immediately." Back in the Colorado bunker, Zoe Hampton collapsed in her chair. Blood trickled from her nose and her hands shook violently. "Medical team!" Dr. Carter shouted, catching her before she fell to the floor. "Get a medical team in here now." Doctors rushed in and placed Zoe on a stretcher. As they carried her out, General Martinez turned to Dr. Carter with concern. "Will she be all right?" Carter nodded slowly. "I think so. The neural load was intense, but she handled it better than our simulations predicted. She's tough." Can she do it again if needed? The general asked quietly. She'll have to, Carter replied, looking at the monitors showing the Zorian fleet, because I don't think they're going to leave without another fight. Throughout the bunker, lights flickered and dimmed. Outside, across much of North America, power grids strained and failed. Blackouts swept across cities from Los Angeles to New York. The energy requirements were even higher than we calculated, Carter said, studying the damage reports that flowed in. We drained nearly 40% of the continent's power grid to fuel that single demonstration. General Martinez frowned. Do we have enough for another? Maybe one more major deployment, Carter admitted. After that, we'll need weeks to produce more of the specialized material that makes the reaction possible. The general's face grew grim. Let's hope one more is enough. On the Zorian flagship, the War Council argued fiercely. Commander Vorax pounded the table with his fist. We should attack immediately, with all our forces, he shouted, before they can use this weapon again. An older Zorian with pale blue scales shook his head. That would be suicide, Commander. We don't understand what we're facing. This technology is beyond anything in our records. Science Director Malik is right, another council member said. In all our conquests, we've never encountered a weapon that could remove matter from reality itself. Krasnar listened to the debate with growing frustration. The Empire had conquered through overwhelming force for so long that they had stopped innovating centuries ago. Why develop new weapons when your current ones were sufficient? Now that complacency might cost them dearly. What do we really know about these humans? He asked suddenly. The council fell silent. Our initial scan showed primitive technology, the science director admitted. But clearly, our assessment was wrong. Or they've been hiding their true capabilities, Krasnar mused. Waiting until they were threatened to reveal their power. All the more reason to crush them now, Vorax insisted. If they've developed this technology in secret, what else might they be hiding? Krasnar stood up, his decision made. The Zorian Empire does not retreat. We will not be threatened by a single planet, no matter what weapon they possess. B. Turned to his war commander. Prepare all ships for attack. Target their major population centers simultaneously. We will overwhelm their defenses with sheer numbers. And if they use their weapon again? Malik asked. They removed one ship, Krasnar replied coldly. We have 100 more. They cannot stop us all. As the Zorian fleet began to move into attack formation, Secretary General Moore received the news in the underground command center. They're not leaving, he told Dr. Carter and General Martinez. They're preparing for a full-scale assault. Carter nodded, unsurprised. Then we'll have to show them what Prometheus can really do. The doctors worked quickly to stabilize Officer Zoe Hampton. Her vital signs had finally steadied, but she remained unconscious, her body drained by the mental strain of operating the Prometheus system. Dr. Carter watched through the medical bay window, his face lined with worry. How soon can she be operational again? General Martinez asked, standing beside him. Carter frowned. Frank, she nearly died. Her brain was never meant to channel that much energy. I understand that, Alex, but we're out of options. The Zorians are moving into attack positions. Our conventional defenses won't stop them. Before Carter could respond, an aide rushed in. General Doctor, you need to see this. Officer Hampton is awake and asking for you. They hurried into the medical bay. Zoe was sitting up in bed, her dark eyes alert, despite the paleness of her face. I can do it again, she said before they could speak. I can feel the system calling to me. It's like it wants to be used. Carter and Martinez exchanged concerned glances. Zoe, the neural load nearly killed you, Carter said gently. We need to find another way. She shook her head. There is no other way, but I figured something out while I was unconscious. She struggled to sit up straighter. The system doesn't have to target their ships directly. There's another approach. In space, the Zorian fleet spread out in a wide formation. 50 warships positioned themselves above Earth's major cities. Another 30 surrounded the planet to prevent any escape attempts. The remaining vessels held position near the moon, ready to provide support where needed. On the flagship, Admiral Krasnar reviewed the attack plan one final time. "All ships report ready, Admiral," his second-in-command announced. "Begin the countdown," Krasnar ordered. "All vessels will fire simultaneously in 30 seconds. The science director, Malik, approached him with a worried expression. "Admiral, I must once again voice my concerns. We still don't understand the humans' technology. This attack could provoke—" "Your concerns are noted," Krasnar interrupted. "But the decision is made. The Empire does not back down." In the Colorado bunker, technicians rushed to implement Zoe's new approach. Despite the doctor's protests, she had been moved back to the control center, where she sat in the command chair, medical monitors attached to her body. "Power reserves at 62%, a technician reported. "Barely enough for what she's proposing." Dr. Carter nodded. "It will have to do." He turned to Zoe. "Are you absolutely sure about this?" "Yes," she replied, her voice stronger now. "Traditional targeting won't work against their entire fleet. But if we reconfigure Prometheus to create a different kind of connection—" General Martinez studied the complex diagram Zoe had quickly sketched out. "This is completely untested. We have no idea what effect it will have." "We know what will happen if we do nothing," Zoe said simply. The Secretary General, who had been listening quietly, stepped forward. "Do it." As the Zorian fleet counted down to their synchronized attack, something strange began to happen. The 3 satellites near Earth glowed with an intense blue light, but instead of focusing on any Zorian ship, they created a web of energy that expanded outward, enveloping the entire planet. "Energy surge detected," shouted a Zorian sensor officer. "Pattern unknown. Is it their weapon?" Krasnar demanded. "Uncertain, Admiral. The energy signature is similar but much broader. It appears to be connecting to us somehow." "Weapons free," Krasnar ordered. "Fire now before they can—" His words cut off abruptly as a wave of foreign sensation crashed through his mind. Every Zorian on every ship experienced the same, frothing simultaneously, an overwhelming flood of alien consciousness pouring into their minds. Dr. Carter watched in amazement as Zoe directed the Prometheus system to create something unprecedented, a momentary psychic bridge between every human on Earth and every Zorian in the invasion fleet. "It's working," he whispered. For one brief, eternal moment, the Zorians experienced humanity's entire emotional spectrum: love and hate, joy and grief, hope and despair. They felt the fierce determination that drove humans to explore and survive, against all odds. They witnessed humanity's bloody history, the wars and atrocities, but also their capacity for forgiveness, art and self-sacrifice. And the humans felt the Zorians too. Their hive-like ancestral memories, their rigid social structure, their certainty of purpose that came from thousands of years of uncontested expansion. On the Zorian flagship, Krasnar fell to his knees, overwhelmed by the alien emotions flooding his mind. Images flashed before him. A human mother protecting her child, soldiers sacrificing themselves for their comrades, scientists working through the night to solve impossible problems, artists creating beauty from nothing, and behind it all, a message, not in words but in pure understanding. This is who we are. This is what you threaten. We will not be conquered. Throughout the Zorian fleet, chaos erupted. Some officers collapsed, unable to process the flood of individualistic human consciousness. Others lashed out in confusion, firing weapons at random. Several ships collided as their pilots lost control. In the Colorado bunker, Zoe Hampton guided, the connection with a skill that astonished Dr. Carter. Despite never attempting anything like this before, she seemed to understand the system at an intuitive level that went beyond his theoretical knowledge. 30 seconds of contact, a technician announced. "Life signs are stable." "Keep going," General Martinez urged. The connection grew stronger. Now the Zorians weren't just feeling human emotions, they were receiving knowledge. The accumulated history of Earth's wars and conflicts flowed into their minds. They saw how humans fought most fiercely when cornered, how they had survived countless disasters, both natural and self-inflicted, how they had developed from scattered tribes to a unified global civilization in a mere few thousand years. Most disturbing to the Zorians was the human capacity for adaptation. Every technology, every strategy, every advantage the Zorians possessed, the humans were already analyzing, understanding, preparing countermeasures. On the flagship, Krasnar managed to stagger to his feet, fighting against the mental invasion. "Disengage," he shouted. "All ships, emergency withdrawal." The blue energy web pulsed once more, then slowly faded. The connection was broken, but its effects remained. Throughout the Zorian fleet, officers and crew sat in stunned silence, forever changed by what they had experienced. In the bunker, Zoe slumped in her chair, exhausted but conscious. "Did it work?" she asked weakly. Dr. Carter checked the monitors. "The Zorian fleet is moving away from Earth orbit. They're retreating." A cheer went up from the technicians, but General Martinez remained cautious. "Keep all systems on alert. This could be a trick." But it wasn't. Admiral Krasnar had made his decision. As the flagship accelerated away from Earth, he composed a message to the Empire's central worlds. Earth is to be classified as a prohibited zone. No Imperial vessel is to approach the solar system under any circumstances. His second-in-command looked at him in shock. "Admiral, the Emperor will demand an explanation." "I will give him one," Krasnar replied, his 4 eyes still haunted by what he had seen. "These humans are not like other species we have encountered. They are dangerous in ways the Empire is not prepared to face." As Earth celebrated its unexpected victory, Dr. Carter sat beside Zoe's recovery bed. "How did you know it would work?" he asked. "The psychic connection wasn't part of the original design." Zoe smiled tiredly. "When I operated the system the first time, I felt something. The Prometheus technology doesn't just manipulate space-time. It connects to consciousness itself. That's why it responded so well to human operators. We're wired differently than the Zorians." Carter nodded slowly. "Which means we've only begun to understand what Prometheus can really do." 3 months after the Zorian retreat, Earth had changed in ways both visible and invisible. The United Nations building in New York now housed a new branch dedicated to space defense and extraterrestrial contact. Countries that had fought for centuries found common ground in preparing humanity for its new role in the galaxy. Dr. Alex Carter stood at the observation window of the newly constructed Prometheus Research Center, watching engineers work on an improved version of the satellite system. The original 3 satellites had been brought back to Earth for study, their components showing unexpected changes after the encounter with the Zorians. "Amazing how quickly we adapt," said Samantha Reeves, stepping up beside him. After her role in delivering Earth's warning to the Zorians, she had been appointed as the first director of extraterrestrial relations. "It's what humans do best," Alex replied with a small smile. "One day we're alone in the universe, the next we're reconfiguring our entire civilization to face a bigger reality." "Speaking of adapting," Samantha said, "how is Zoe doing?" Alex gestured toward a testing chamber below them. Zoe Hampton sat inside a clear enclosure, eyes closed in concentration as she interacted with a small glowing device on a table before her. Monitoring equipment surrounded her, recording every brainwave and bodily response. "She's changing too," Alex said quietly. The connection with the Prometheus system altered something in her neural pathways. She can perceive things the rest of us can't. "Is she in danger?" Samantha asked, concerned. "No, quite the opposite. Her brain is becoming more efficient, more capable, and she's not the only one. The 12 other operators we've been training show similar changes, though not as pronounced." Samantha watched Zoe for a moment longer. "And what about the Zorians? Any sign of them?" "None. Our deep space monitoring stations haven't detected any activity near the solar system. They're keeping their distance, just as Admiral Krasnar promised." In the vast emptiness between star systems, the Zorian fleet continued its journey home. Admiral Krasnar stood alone on the observation deck of his flagship, staring out at the endless stars. The encounter with humans had changed him too, in ways he was still struggling to understand. A soft chime announced a visitor. Science Director Malik entered, his movements slow and deliberate. The crew is still recovering, Malik reported. The human consciousness was overwhelming for many. And the Emperor's response to our report? Krasnar asked. He is displeased as expected, but even he cannot argue with the evidence we provided. Earth will be designated a prohibited zone, as you recommended. Krasnar nodded. It is the wise course. The humans possess something we don't fully understand. Not technology, Malik agreed. Their devices, while impressive, are not beyond our comprehension. It's their minds, their diversity of thought, their chaotic emotions, their ability to function as individuals while still working toward collective goals. Our ancestors evolved from hive species, Krasnar said. Order and hierarchy are embedded in our genetics. The humans evolved differently, which makes them dangerous, Malik concluded. Yes, Krasnar said, but also fascinating. Back on Earth, the Secretary-General convened a special session of the United Nations. Representatives from every nation gathered to discuss humanity's future in light of their first contact with an alien civilization. The Zorians have retreated, the Secretary-General began, but we would be foolish to think they are the only advanced species in our galaxy. Our brief glimpse into their minds revealed an empire spanning thousands of worlds and references to other interstellar powers. Murmurs spread through the assembly. The idea of multiple alien civilizations was still difficult for many to grasp. Therefore, he continued, I propose the formation of a new international body, the Earth Space Defense and Exploration Initiative. Its mission will be twofold: to protect our planet from future threats, and to prepare humanity for peaceful contact with other civilizations. The vote was unanimous. For perhaps the first time in human history, the entire planet stood united behind a single purpose. In a laboratory beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Carter made a surprising discovery. He burst into General Martinez's office, waving a data tablet, excitedly. Frank, look at this, the material we extracted from the ancient outpost. It's changing its molecular structure based on how we use it. The general looked confused. What does that mean in simple terms, Alex? It means Prometheus isn't just a technology we found and adapted. It's learning from us, evolving with us. The more we use it, the more it becomes attuned to human consciousness. Martinez leaned back in his chair. So what you're saying is, What I'm saying is that the alien civilization that built the original outpost might have created Prometheus as a seed technology, something designed to be found and developed by other species. Carter's eyes shone with excitement. And based on the data we've collected, I believe the technology responds differently depending on who uses it. In human hands, it forms connections, builds bridges between minds. And in Zorian hands? Martinez asked. We may never know, Carter replied, but I suspect it would manifest in ways that reflect their hive mind evolution. 6 months after the Zorian encounter, Earth launched its first true deep space vessel, the Emissary. Unlike the military ships of the Earth Defense Force, the Emissary was designed for exploration and contact. Its crew included scientists, diplomats, and a small contingent of Prometheus operators, with Zoe Hampton as their leader. On the day of launch, Samantha Reeves stood on the bridge beside Captain Olivia Bennett, who had been chosen to command this historic mission. Nervous, Olivia asked with a smile. Terrified, Samantha admitted, but excited too. We're not just visitors to the stars anymore. After what happened with the Zorians, we're going out there as equals. Zoe entered the bridge, her stride confident, despite the lingering effects of her connection with Prometheus. All systems ready, Captain. The operators are in position. Olivia nodded and took her place in the command chair. Navigation set course for the coordinates Dr. Carter provided. Course set, Captain. Estimated travel time to the nearest identified non-Zorian civilization, 6 months. Prometheus drive standing by, Zoe reported. Olivia looked around at her. Crew, the best humanity had to offer, embarking on a journey that would change their species forever. Let's go meet the neighbors, she said, and this time we won't be caught unprepared. The emissary's engines glowed with blue light, the same color as the Prometheus field that had saved Earth. In a flash of energy, the ship vanished into the Depths of space carrying humanity's message to the stars. Not a warning this time, but an invitation. Earth was ready to join the galactic community, on its own terms.